You, like, overturn the slaver cart to give you a little easy shelter. You lean it on a boulder, and then you've got a nice little hut. And it's fine. You set up a fire, and Fenris eventually does explain what he means. He says, just a few days ago, while I was heading north along the Imperial Highway towards Weishaupt, I did indeed see... It looked like maybe a caravan of stonemasons, perhaps, or builders. They had a large wagon full of bricks and mortar. And as I was coming along the hill, I saw shambling corpses. They came out of what looked like nowhere. And I tried to intervene, but I wasn't... He kind of flinches and he says, I wasn't fast enough to save anyone.
That's an upsetting story.
I assumed it was just a one-off. Sometimes nests of Darkspawn come to the surface occasionally. You're telling me that they've been seen elsewhere.
That's what the rumors said. We're hoping that's not the case, but we have to check.
Fenris says, then this is an ill omen.
Indeed.
Zevran in the back is like, ugh. And he, like, lies down on the grass and just covers his face with both hands.
Poor baby.
It's like, am I really going to live through another blight?
We all hope not.
Fenris looks at you, Cassandra, and in perfect Cunlot, he asks, how long have you been free?
Ooh.
I am extremely startled and immediately back away, like, how do you know how to speak Kunlot?
He sort of smiles. It's a very pained smile, and he says, I spent some time on Saharon.
I'm very, very suspiciously looking at him like...
He raises one hand pacifyingly. He says, I too know what it means to be a slave. These brands were not given to me by just anyone.
Right. Of course, you did mention a former master. That makes sense. I apologize for my reaction.
He waves one hand dismissively. The universal Cunlot gesture of think nothing of it.
It has not been long since I've been free.
He says, he switches out of Cunlot so the rest of you can actually understand what he's saying. He says,
I'll say, yeah.
I am surprised that it would be a Sarabas that I would see free. They are held on very short leashes, as I recall, metaphorical and literal.
Quite so. I had some help with my escape.
I have no doubt about it. He says, it would not have been that long ago that I would have said you deserved the collar that you wore. I'm pleased to say that I've come farther than that now.
Oh? What changed you?
He smiles and he looks down at Kat, who is chewing on like a veal bone or something. He scratches behind the dog's ears and he says, let's just say, I had an excellent example to look up to.
That's good. I hope that others would also think better of mages.
It's no easy thing, not this soon after the war, but... He shrugs impassively and he says, if you're looking for Darkspawn, I feel honor-bound to help you. I have no more desire than any of you to see another blight. And perhaps if things go well, we can talk about this. What did you call the group?
Lucerne.
Lucerne. You exist to free slaves?
Indeed. We, that's how the three of us met. And I gestured to Cassandra and Sabre. We were captured, and the Lucerne freed us.
He says, well, I can't say I hate the idea of a group that exists to kill slavers. I do want to find Hawk, preferably sooner rather than later. He's been gone for too long, and I should bring him back to Kirkwall, or at least to somewhere.
We will help you if we can.
We can assist, right? I'm, like, looking at my group, like, questioningly.
Well, he said that Hawk went to Weishaupt. And let's see what y'all know about Weishaupt. I guess this would be historical or cultural, whichever is higher. Yeah, Elian, you know all about Weishaupt. Weishaupt Fortress is in the Anderfels, which is the northernmost country in Thedas.
Mm-hmm.
It exists mostly in the Donarchs, which is a mountain range, so it's very cold, very windy, not because of the, like, in Thedas, the further north you go, the warmer it is, but, like, the Donarchs are so high that everything's just cold all the time. Weishaupt Fortress is notable because it is the headquarters of the Grey Wardens. It is not actually that far from Minrathous, but it is very inaccessible because, A, you have to be a Grey Warden if you even want to get in. The Grey Wardens are extremely secretive. Like, they hold their methods and their means very, very close to the chest. Weishaupt is actually political as well. It's the seat of political power in the Anderfels. The Grey Wardens are unique in the Anderfels because they actually are the controlling political organization of an entire country in the Anderfels. Elsewhere, not so much. But in the Anderfels, they're very, very powerful. It would be difficult to just walk into Weishaupt.
How can we help if it's so hard to enter?
Fenrir says, well, my initial idea was to just sort of climb a wall, bust a window.
I am very good at climbing.
I've had worse plans, honestly.
I just sort of look at him like, oh, have you? Because this sounds like a terrible plan. Like, that's what my expression says.
I think this sounds like a great plan.
Of course you do.
This is exactly the plan I would come up with. So I'm like, just sort of like nodding along sagely, just being like, yep, makes sense to me.
Severin says, well, we have some political connections. You may not necessarily have to climb a wall and bust a window, as you say. We might be able to perhaps, he's thinking about it, like, I suppose we do have quite a lot of political power. We have ties with the Southern Divine, and 2 powerful magisters in the Magisterium. And that actually, Fenris sits up a little straighter and he says, I'm sorry, what? You associate with magisters?
I nod, like, oh yes, Magister Pavis was the one who saved us.
He immediately stands up. He looks like he's about to draw his fucking weapon, and he says, you said that you wanted to free slaves.
Whoa, we do. We do.
And yet you associate with magisters? Do you not know what they've done?
They are the ones who run the Lucerni. They are dedicated to stopping this practice.
Fenris laughs callously. He says, a magister who's against slavery. I'll believe that when I see it.
I think I look at him and I'm like, perhaps you've heard the name Dorian Pavis?
I have not.
Well, that was my one.
Listen, Magister Pavis was with the Inquisitor for a time. They are very dedicated to erasing slavery, I swear.
He looks like he can't believe that. Like, he says, do you know who gave me these brands?
I'm pretty slow, but I'm putting together some connections here.
Yeah.
His name was Denarius. Magister Denarius.
We helped take down Magister Cerastes and his organization.
One ear sort of twitches in recognition, and he says, Cerastes, I know that name. Zevran says, well, you can forget it, because he's extremely dead.
Very, very extremely dead.
Apparently that happens at Tevinter parties.
I'll believe that. It's not a real party in Tevinter until someone does blood magic.
Yeah, there was that.
Oh, there was a demon too. Mm-hmm.
His hackles are still up, but he sort of rests back against the side of the wagon that you've overturned for temporary shelter, and he says, very well. I'll take it on faith for now. He says, you understand my caution, I hope. Never once have I met a magister that I can trust.
We do. I swear to you.
He says, Tevinter is a dangerous place for an elf, especially one with my markings.
We didn't enter into it lightly.
It's also a dangerous place for a Kunari mage to run free.
He eyes you and inclines his head a little bit, and he says, Ebasit etwa ost, which is, such is the way of things. And he says, very well. Sleep. I'll take first watch. Tomorrow I'll show you where the Darkspawn attacked.
Point of order, I don't feel like I let him take first watch and let the rest of us sleep. I'm way too paranoid for that.
You can take first watch with him, or you can try to talk him out of it, because he is also paranoid.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take first watch with him.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a conversation?
Ooh.
Probably, yeah. That seems reasonable. I feel like I'm curious about an elf with weird markings that I've never seen before.
Yeah, the markings are definitely not Dalish.
Yeah.
They are definitely not Dalish.
But, like, I feel like kindred spirit to any elves, and I want to
especially one that's been a slave.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I think as he's, like, setting up first watch, I go over and I say, one can never be too careful, and I sit down with my spear.
He sees right through that, clearly. But he also doesn't call you out on it. And he says, apparently they can't.
Well, you know, in this cruel world.
Mm-hmm. That's alright, I'll not fault you on being slow to trust. I'm certainly no quicker than you.
It's a sign of a wise person, I think.
He says nothing to that. He remains neutral on that subject.
I think as we're sort of sitting in silence, watching out, I turn and I say, "It's not too often that I see a non-Dalish with markings."
He says, "Well, as you have probably guessed by now, these markings were not mine by choice."
No, I heard a little of what you said. Would you care to tell your story?
No.
I sort of shrug. That's not a big deal to me.
You have to get a higher approval rating to get Fenris to unlock his backstory.
Oh god, I know.
Friendship level 20 before you can...
So you fall into something resembling companionable silence. It is nearing the end of your watch. You've been making vague, idle conversations, mostly about Cat, because Cat is he's just a love sponge, and so it's easy to talk about dogs.
Okay. And I definitely like dogs. I think I'm just looking at my stats. I have a -1 in animal handling, so I'm not great with dogs, but I like them a lot.
And Cat is smart enough that he understands it's not a personal failing on your part.
And I think we had hunting hounds and things like that. So yeah, and it's probably been a long time since I've been with a dog that's incompanionable, willing to be petted. So I'm petting the dog.
And you are nearing the end of your watch, when you hear a very, very faint voice. You think it's someone shouting at you across the plain. But you glance over your shoulder and there's nothing there, and Fenris doesn't react to it either. And it sounds so far away that it's indistinct. But then it happens again, and it's just a little bit clearer. And he says, "He knows the witch."
Oh, this is interesting.
Oh boy.
"He knows her. Her magic pulls at him. I can feel it. Ask him."
Oh, man. I think I, first off, am creeped out by weird voices that I'm hearing that no one else is, so...
Yep, that's pretty creepy. And I want to make it clear, this is a character choice if you act on this. You don't have to if you don't want to, but you can if you do.
I think I'm gonna, startle and get up. I'm still pretty slow on the magic thing, so every time I hear something, I think there has to be, a physical, phenomenon behind it.
When you stand up, Fenris glances over at you and says, "Are you alright?" You hear the voice again. "He knows her. I can feel her magic through him. Ask him."
I say very, very, very quietly, "Do you hear that?"
No. He starts looking around as if trying to hear something.
I carefully pull my brother's sword out.
He says, "Easy, friend. Where's it coming from?"
Where is it just from everywhere? Is there not a source?
You can't pin down. It sounds far away, but that's the best you can do.
I'm putting it together now. I sort of shake my head and sit back down. Nothing. It's nothing. I must have been hearing things.
The voice doesn't relent. It still is. You can still hear this voice shouting at you. It sounds like from far away, but he doesn't completely stop, but it does ease up as the night progresses. It doesn't become quite so insistent.
Oh, that's creepy. That's the worst possible thing to happen. I think as the night goes on, I'm not gonna he's not gonna just ask. I think he's sort of he subtly looks over at Fenris and says, "What do you know of the Dalish?"
Your watch is almost over now, and he says, "Not a great deal. I've met a few in my time."
Anyone with the clan Sabray?
He looks right over at you. As soon as you say Sabray, he looks straight at you.
Oh.
He says, "Why do you ask?" And he sounds very guarded.
Oh, I'm gonna lie. I I look at him and I say, "Well, Sabray is my clan. We've had a fellow missing, and I'm always on."
"That's not possible."
"What do you mean?"
"Clan Sabray is dead. Why are you lying to me?"
I'm sort of I think I fall back into kind of a semi-defensive stance. "How do you know that?"
"How do you know about that?"
"Because I'm the last of the clan Sabray."
He doesn't seem to know what to say to that.
"How do you know? What have you heard?"
He said, "I heard nothing."
Did you talk to my brother?"
He says, I don't know. I didn't spend a great deal of time talking.
Ren Sabre, do you know the name?
The hero of Ferelden? I've heard of him. Everyone's heard of him.
But you don't know Ren.
No. My only dealings with Clan Sabre were... He hesitates and he says, it's about 6 years ago. And about 6 years ago was about the time your clan was slaughtered.
I think I sort of get up, like, not super much into his personal space, but enough to be like, a little bit menacing, and I'm like, friend, I need you to tell me what you know.
He says, I can if you insist, but it's not going to be an easy way to begin this relationship.
Nothing about my clan has ever been easy.
He says, I was there the day they were killed. Is that what you want to hear?
I take, like, a step back. That is... How is that possible?
He says they turned on the witch Meryl. And because Levon Hawk has an unusual sense of duty and honor, he felt obliged to protect her.
I'm sorry, what? You're saying that your friend, the one that you are going to rescue, he protected the witch?
They attacked first, he says. Listen, I lose sleep about what happened to that clan, I promise you. So does Hawk.
They attacked what does that even mean?
She was... I hesitate to say friend. They weren't friends. He didn't get along with her. But he felt some sense of duty toward her. And when her clan attacked her, he felt honor-bound to protect her.
I don't understand. My clan would not just attack someone unprovoked. Was she using blood magic?
Have you ever met Meryl? Of course she was using blood magic.
Do you know where she is?
I don't.
Does this Hawk character know where she is?
I don't know.
I sort of get up and I'm, like, pacing the... Like, I think I've gotten pretty loud at this point. And I'm getting up pacing the perimeter.
Yeah, it's just about second watch, and let's say, Elian, you're up next.
Okay.
You come over just in time to see Sabre pacing frantically.
What's wrong?
I start to say something and then sort of shut my mouth and I say, we need to go. We need to find this Hawk character.
Why?
He may know something about my past.
I have, like, the most baffled expression on my face. What? How would he know?
This man says that he was there the night that my clan was murdered. In cold blood.
I put a hand on your arm.
Oh, I shake you the hell off and you're lucky I didn't try to throw a punch at you.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is starting to wake up now.
Yeah.
Zephyrin first. Zephyrin's a very light sleeper, and he says, what the hell is going on?
I also wake up like, what?
Sabre says that Fenris knows something about what happened to his clan.
Fenris, finally, he's been stonily silent throughout most of this, and eventually he stands up too and he says, I'm not going to tell you to put away your anger, because I understand why you would be angry. I was outraged on your clan's behalf as well. If they had left us any choice, but... And he hesitates. But Hawk looks after those close to him, and Meryl happened to be close to him.
You're speaking nonsense. What could my clan have possibly done to provoke an attack like this? They were murdered in cold blood.
She killed your keeper! Why do you think they turned on her? She killed Marathari in cold blood!
How? How did she... What do you mean how did she... Did she mean to? She must have meant to.
There were some extenuating circumstances, but it doesn't change the fact that it was her who plunged the blade into Marathari's heart. That's why the clan attacked her on sight. They knew what she'd done. Hawk couldn't stop it. Nothing we could have done could have stopped them from turning on her in that moment.
I take out Meryl's knife that I've been keeping, and I throw it on the ground at his feet, and I say, this knife?
He looks down at it, and he says, yes, that knife exactly.
I turn and just... I can't stand to look at or talk to anybody right now. And I say very coldly, I need to talk to this Hawk character. If he knows where she is, if he can lead me to vengeance, I need to see him now.
In the middle of a mission you've undertaken for the Divine?
Well, that does make me pause a little bit. I think you see my shoulders tense.
And he says, I'll be completely honest, I'm not sure you're safe in the same room as Hawk. Especially with that kind of attitude. He's made mistakes, we've all made mistakes, but he's the man I love and I will die before I let you come near him in anger.
You would stand between me and my vengeance.
If that vengeance includes the end of Levon Hawk's life, then yes, I would.
I can promise you, if he can lead me to information about Meryl, no harm will come to him.
He doesn't seem to know what to say for quite a while. Zevran in the back diffuses the tension by saying, "Oh, well, you two just kissed already. My goodness, the sexual tension. You could cut it with a knife."
I think I look back at the group. Fenris is right about one thing at least. We made a promise to the Divine. I stand behind my promises.
So, how did everyone sleep?
Oh, so bad. So bad.
Was fine until, friend and new friend started fighting.
I feel like Zevran made, as soon as he found out that you were restless, Sibre, he just started this nonstop parade of jokes until you told him to shut up or you fell asleep.
Both. I think both.
And even after you told him to shut up, he give it a rest for 20 minutes and then pick up again. Is that the only way he knows how to deal with trauma? That's his only coping mechanism.
Yep, sure is.
Fair enough.
Humor and sleeping with people. So the next day is tense.
Yep.
Wow, it's tense. You could cut the tension with a knife. The only one who seems unaffected is, of course, Cat, who is very smart for a dog, but, not that smart still. He's still a dog.
I feel like I'm warming up to Cat. Now that I have a little bit of remove from him ripping somebody's throat out in front of me.
Yeah, he's a lot friendlier when you're not on the receiving end of a Mabari charge.
Meanwhile, I feel like I'm hovering around Sabre quite a bit.
That's probably good. That's probably very good.
Elian's giving you space after that look that you gave him.
Sabre is sulking, because,
It's been a lot for Sabre. We haven't even had time to process how he's felt about learning the truth about the Valasline.
Yeah.
And that's a whole separate can of worms.
Yep. Oh,
yeah.
boy.
I think this is he's just getting numb to it at this point. Just what next? My mother was secretly a demon.
Oh god.
Your brother faked his own death, and actually he's been Fenris all along.
Honestly, yeah.
Fenris does, he keeps true to his word, and he guides you back to, as best he can, the site of the ambush. And as you come upon it, indeed, it's pretty grisly. There's an overturned wagon full of stone, large stone bricks, and buckets of mortar that have since dried up and crusted into the rocky soil. And there are corpses. 4 of them are human, and 6 of them are not human. And the closer you get to them, the more apparent it becomes that they are definitely Darkspawn. They come in all shapes and sizes, but they are all rotting and hideous and very, very scary and awful and bad.
Cool. Excellent. Hate that.
Well, that's not good.
Fenris says, "I managed to fight off the last of the Darkspawn, but not before they'd killed everyone else."
Is there any way we can track, do we have tracking skills to be able to, track them back to where...
I am so glad that you asked.
Oh, god
Absolutely
damn it.
do. There's a
God damn
perception tracking skill.
There is, look at that.
Yep.
I feel like a Dalish elf might be good at that.
Between the two of you, you managed to follow the tracks. Luckily, it hasn't rained since the attack, it seems like. Otherwise, the markings would have been completely washed away. But you do indeed manage to follow them backwards. It takes you about a couple hours, and it's barren all the way there. And it does not surprise you at all. For anyone who knows anything about Darkspawn, they don't have battle strategies. Their thing is come up, walk around until you find something alive, and then kill it. And thus endeth the Darkspawn battle strategy. That's it. That's all they know how to do.
Just go up to the surface and just go and kill things.
You do eventually track it backwards through this barren landscape until eventually you're getting closer and closer to the coast of the Notion Sea. And when the tracks finally stop, it's because it comes to a rocky shoreline, like gravel. and you see not far off in the distance a very low cave that looks like it's low tide right now, but it looks like during high tide it's one of those caves that probably partially floods with water. And you can see it standing near the coast of the sea, looking very ominous.
Well, there's really only one thing to do.
I wish you hadn't said that.
Fenris says, and here I thought I'd run out of bad ideas traveling with Hawk. Go underground looking for Darkspawn. Sure, why not? Severin's like, what's the worst that could happen? We could trip and fall into an Archdemon, I suppose. That would probably be
I
the
give him
worst
a
thing that could
look.
happen. Oh, what? You head toward the cave?
Yep, I guess
Yeah.
we do.
I guess.
Hell yeah.
Apparently.
What else are we gonna do?
Just turn around and go home. Just leave.
Sorry,
to
Divine Victoria, we found them and they're in a cave and we didn't go in to check.
You head toward the mouth of this cave, and as soon as you get within spitting distance of this cave, the smell just hits you. It smells like rotting flesh and pus. It's it saturates the air. It's even stronger than the salt water, the really intense saltwater smell that you get from the ocean. And Zevran coughs and he says, "Oh yeah, this is a nest. It's definitely a nest. Pretty big one if I had to go by smell."
Oh, it's awful.
I'm very familiar with this smell. Fenris says, "Can you tell how many, based on scent? Is it particularly pungent when there are 100 or more?" And Zevran says, "Nope. The only way is to try our luck."
Oh, cool.
So now's when we hit the save button.
Right, exactly.
Quick save
Boss
button.
battle!
F5. As you head further into the cave, Zevran says, "What you must understand about Darkspawn," he's trying to explain this very hastily now that you are probably imminently going to be fighting Darkspawn. He says, "What you must know about Darkspawn is that they have a hive mind. You understand? You must kill every Darkspawn you see, or otherwise they'll be able to tell any surrounding Darkspawn for miles exactly where they are.
Fuck.
And we will be overwhelmed. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
If you see one that's very tall and thin, kill that one first. It can use magic."
Excellent.
You all set off into the cave. It is very damp. You can hear the sound of dripping water from somewhere, although, like I said, it is low tide, so you're not sloshing directly through salt water or anything. But the smell just gets stronger and stronger until it's almost overwhelming. I would let's see. We don't have a passive perception in this game, do we? Well, Zevran is on high fucking alert. So he is going to be making tracking attempts every couple feet, and we'll see how well he does. He's got a +2 mod in perception. That's pretty good. And that makes sense, because Zevran's a veteran of the Fifth Blight, and he knows when danger is near, and he knows that you have to be on fucking 1,000% concentration or you get eaten by Darkspawn. You are coming around a broad corner. This cave, by the way, is much bigger inside than it looked from the surface. It quickly it slopes down and then it fans out in a couple different directions. Zevran comes around the corner and he puts a hand up abruptly. He puts his finger to his lips and then he points around the corner.
I ready my staff.
Yeah, I get my rapier ready and...
Fenris unsheaths his sword and Cat assumes a battle stance. He presses his back to the wall and he looks between you, Sabre, and Fenris like he's trying to decide which of you would be the better one to go rushing in first and, soak up the worst of the damage. And then he decides both of you. So he looks at Sabre and Fenris, and he gestures to both of you, and then he points in. Then he holds up 3 fingers, then 2 fingers, then 1 finger, and then he urges you inside.
Okay. Sure.
Everyone roll initiative! So Sabre and Fenris, you go rushing around the corner first, and you see 3 hideous Genlocks. They are all stooped around what you think is a fire, and they're cooking something, and it smells bad. It smells real, real bad. It is technically Zevran that is first up in the order, so he is going to take a throwing knife and hurl it at just the closest Genlock, because he wants to let the tanks get in first. He has learned very, very well from his time in the Blight. You let the tanks get in first. Oh my god. Zevran, he's got 4 stun
Good
points.
God.
Oh
Oh
my
my god! 23. He's gonna be super sexy, and I'm gonna fall in love with him all over again.
He's going to use Mighty Blow. So that gives him an extra 1d6 damage. As you and Fenris go charging in, probably like battle crying a little bit, Zevran throws a knife. It lands in the eye of the Genlock, and the Genlock doesn't even seem to fucking notice. He takes no damage.
Oh god.
Yike.
That's not good.
Elian, you're up next.
I'm gonna do the same damn thing and throw a knife.
That is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okie dokie, and I have 5 stunt points.
Excellent.
Nice.
Woohoo.
Go ahead and do whatever you want with that.
Yep. Ooh, sweet. I can do lethal blow. You inflict an extra 2d6 damage.
Ooh, girl. Armor rating of 5, so 7.
Yes.
7 damage. Alright, Sabre, you and Fenris are barreling forward into the fray. They have definitely noticed you now.
That's how I like it. None of this subtle-ass bullshit. I've taken the chance before the battle to pull my spear. I also have now used my ready action to pull my brother's sword. And I'm just gonna go for the one that didn't seem to take any damage.
The one with Zevran's knife in its eye?
Yep, that one. And I'm going for it with my spear at first.
That is a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
It's an extra 1d6, you said?
It is.
Sweet. So I'm gonna use my stunt points to knock the enemy prone.
Okay, and you do how much damage?
I do... that much damage.
Minus 5, so 9.
I'm gonna make a judgment call and say that my special ability doesn't apply here, because he's not really outraged about...
Don't get me... As your character progresses, you may or may not,
Yeah.
it's Dragon Age, be able to tap into it deliberately,
Mhm.
but that's gonna require a couple things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think right now it's like, it has to just be like a sheer emotion thing, and I think right now he's not like emotional about it as much as he is just like, ugh, this is disgusting.
Mm-hmm. Reasonable. Cassandra, you are up next.
Sure is. Okay. Then I am gonna do Flame Blast.
14 is a hit. And what does he have to roll? Dex? Acrobatics?
Yeah.
He has a +2 to Dex. Oh!
Oh.
So he beats it, which means what?
Let me see. Only take 1d6 plus 1 damage. Plus I have a stunt.
You have a stunt point.
Yeah, just one stunt. That's why I was like...
A singular stunt.
Yeah, so I can only... I can increase the spell power of my spell by 1. Yay. Amazing. So... 1d6 plus 2, I guess.
8 damage minus 5, so 3. It is the wounded Genlock's turn. Now, is getting up a minor action or a major action? Let's find out. Oh, you can move up to your speed and yours. You can also go prone, stand up, or mount. Okay, so it's a minor action. So yeah, the Genlock is going to stand up with its minor action. And then it's going to take a bite out of you, Sabre.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's going to use its two-handed sword, which is a +6 to hit. 14. Does that hit your AC? Sorry, defense?
No, it does not. It's a 15.
What is it?
15 is mine.
Alright, he swings at you. You deftly sidestep out of the way. It is the second Genlock's turn. He's going to go for Fenris, who is also charging right at him. Fenris's defense is 11. 16 minus 7, so that's only 9. Fenris loses 9 hit points. The second one, he's got 2 beefy targets right in front of him, so he's going to go for Sabre.
Yeah.
Wow, they just can't hit you today.
Nice.
Just sort of dexterous.
Bob and weave, bob and weave. It is Fenris's turn. He is going to Lyrium Ghost, the second Genlock. So that is his might versus its stamina. Yes! Oh, okay, I've been waiting to him to use this move. When he succeeds on this throw, instead of just dealing damage, he rips its still beating heart out and murders it immediately.
Yay! Baby!
Reaches into its chest and rips out its heart, and Genlock 2 is out of commission.
I am vaguely regretting threatening him last night.
Mea culpa. Zevran is up next, and now that the two tanks have successfully gotten their attention, he is going to sneak around back and try to do a backstab on the wounded Genlock. So that's going to be his deception, or his sneaky, which is 7, versus the Genlock's perception, which is 4. That is better, so he gets to backstab it.
Yay!
Oh, and he gets 6 stun points.
Yeah!
What?
Yeah, boy!
He's gonna lethal blow.
Oh my god. Yes.
So that's a total of, oh god. So it's an extra 1d6 from the backstab and 2d6 from lethal blow. So that's 4d6 plus 1.
This is amazing.
He hasn't killed it, but he did a real good chunk of damage. And that leaves it with not a whole lot of health. Alright, next up is Elian. You have one Genlock that is very almost dead, and one that is fine.
I feel like eliminating one target is a good move.
Probably.
So I guess I'm gonna try to also be stealthy and backstab.
Zevran is behind it, so you're gonna have to bluff first.
Okay. So how do I bluff again? Let's see, that is...
You can try to backstab an opponent that you begin your turn adjacent to, so you have to start adjacent to him. You must first use a minor action to deceive him. This is your communication deception versus willpower self-discipline.
Okay.
That is better, so you can backstab him.
Woo! Okay, so then...
Yep, you do's it.
Okie doke, so it's a melee attack with a +2 bonus.
19. That is a hit. Roll
Okay,
damage.
so that is an extra 1d6 and an extra 1d6 from the bluff.
Elian comes out with his rapier and neatly slices off its head.
I'm I started kind of impressed.
I kind of give you a just grin.
Speaking of which, Sabre, you're up.
Excellent. So there's one left, right?
There's only one Genlock left, correct.
I think I pivot and just sort of shrug, and I'm like, well, I guess this is the one that's left. And I'm gonna make an attack at it with my spear again.
That is incredibly a hit, and you have 5 stunt points.
Oh,
Sweet.
sweet. Oh, there's a stunt I wanted to do. Hey, does that mean do you have leftover? If you have leftover stunt points, can you use them next time?
No, stun points do not accumulate.
Okay, so you should use the highest one you have, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, well then I guess I'm using the lethal blow.
Don't forget the Silverite bonus.
Yes.
Woof! 22
Woof.
minus 5.
Wow.
That sure is a number.
Yeah, wow. Good job.
17. Next up in the order is Cassandra,
What's left?
the Genlock,
Just one.
still.
Okay.
I really want to see magic fuck up just once.
That's what I was. I actually was, while they were doing that, I was making a note of when a magical mishap happens. If it rolls, if I fail the roll and the dragon die is a 1, then there's a mishap. So anyway, with that in mind, I'm gonna. Why not do Arcane Bolt? I exploded a person before with that. Good track record.
You sure did. 11.
And that is a acrobatics versus spell power. Yay.
Just
Shoo.
barely.
Just barely. Yep, so 2d6.
Excellent. The Genlock looks around, and it seems to be just cognizant enough to realize that it is outnumbered.
Mhm.
And it takes off running.
Oh.
Fuck.
It heads off right between Sabre and Zevran, and it just heads further back into the cave. And Zevran frantically says, "Don't let it get away!" And it's Fenris's turn.
Yeah, definitely. Run after it.
Come on, Fenris. Ranged attacks.
Fenris does not have any ranged attacks, my
God
friends. He
Damn it.
is a two-handed boy. That's
Yeah.
all he knows how to do. The Genlock's speed, 10. Fenris's speed is, with a penalty, 16. He's going to try to tackle it to the ground. He's not sure if he can kill it in one blow, so he's going to try to... He's catches up to it, and I'll make this, I guess, a contest between his might and its dexterity.
Oh, come on, Fenris. You may have been complicit in killing my entire clan, but I really want you to get this.
Oh, but his dragon die was higher. Which means, no, the Genlock gets away.
Oh no,
no.
that's not good.
And Zevran says, "Don't let it get away!" He also does not have very many ranged attacks.
No.
He is going to frantically throw a knife at it. That's about all he can do. 18 is a hit.
That seems good.
And then he's got the thrown weapons are 2d6, I believe. All right. Oh god, that was close. Zevran says, "Don't let it get away!" And he throws a knife, and it lands in the back of the Genlock's head, and the Genlock staggers and falls over the edge of a cliff that you didn't even see. It just tumbles forward over into nothingness, and Zevran hurriedly scrambles toward the edge of the cliff to see what it fell into. And when he gets to that edge of the cliff, like, he goes absolutely stone still.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good.
I
I'm
go
gonna run
over cautiously.
Yeah. I go over not cautiously.
The tableau that you see about 200, 300 feet below you, it should be so far that you can't make out any details, but unfortunately, there is something down there that is so big, it's impossible not to notice. About 300 feet below you is a massive, horribly mutated black and red dragon.
No.
And it is currently being... It's difficult to describe. It's like there are small figures, you can't make them out because they're so far away. They seem to be trying to wrangle the dragon somehow. Like, they've got magical, like, glowing ropes. Like, one has attached to its wing, another one is pulling down on its muzzle. And the dragon is twisting and writhing and kicking. And it seems to be, like, under control for now. Until the Genlock falls and crushes one of the figures below it. And suddenly, the balance of power shifts. And the massive dragon kicks one leg out with its newfound freedom and knocks over a second figure. And then it swipes at a third figure. And then suddenly it's able to extend its massive leathery wings out and take off slowly higher into the cavern. And it soars directly over your heads. Zevran hits the fucking deck.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna follow his lead
Follow
here.
suit. Mm-hmm.
And as it flies over you and the air rushes around you in the wake of its massive wings, and as soon as it's quiet enough to hear, you can hear Zevran. No, not again. Luckily for you, this particular dragon doesn't seem to have noticed you. Fenris, he stares up at it. He says, "I've seen dragons before, but I've never seen anything like that. What was wrong with it?" And Zevran says, "Nothing is wrong with it. That's not a dragon, my friends. That is an archdemon. We are in a blight."
Fuck.
Oh no.
Hey friends, Tessa here. If you're desperate to hear the next episode, chances are good that you can by joining our Discord server. We post links to all episodes in pre-release, and you can even chat with us and listen live as we record. Join us by going to bit.ly/CFCDiscord. For more information on the show, character biographies, and links to social media, head to our website, critfail.club or critfailclub.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. Crit Fail Club does not advertise at all, so if you like what you hear, tell a friend who might also like it, make a post on social media about it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Full episodes are available on our YouTube channel, bit.ly/CFC channel, or wherever you get your podcasts.